So I told someone in the comments about a year ago that I would do a video featuring all of the plugs that I own. It's really scary actually having it all laid out in front of me. I've been collecting like plugs, gauges, some people call them, since I started stretching. I knew I was gonna probably end up around 14 millimeter and I ended up settling on 16. And now I might go beyond that. So I wanted to post this video before some of them don't fit me. I might like modify some of them so I can keep them, but we'll see. Anyway, there's a lot. I'm gonna do like really short little increments so that you can just kind of see them, and I'll take some pictures as well so you can see what they look up like close up, because everything I film and upload to YouTube looks like I filmed it on a potato, even though it looks great when I'm editing it. And you can hardly see any of the detail. So I'll try to take some really good photos so you can see those as well, and I'll zoom in when I'm trying on my earrings so you can see like my pores really close up. So here is the first set. These are some 16 millimeter acrylic roses. They're on like a little stainless steel here. I actually really like these ones. I've worn them a couple times when I've had to go somewhere and wear like, you know, semi-fancy plugs. And I've got like my giant bottle here. And I think these ones, I want to say I got on Arctic Buffalo. I actually started stretching mostly with stuff from them because they had a really good selection when I first started stretching. I mean, they still do. They're just a little more pricey now, but that's where I started with most of my regular glass plugs because I wear really plain plugs when I'm stretching. But these ones are nice and they look kind of fancy. I think they're a little too close to my skin tone. I wish I would have gotten like black or red, but I really like these. They're pretty comfy. They do bother my ears after a little while, but I don't know, I like them. These are some really cool like Galaxy 3D ones. I think, I'm trying to remember where I got these ones. I think they were on Temu. I've seen them a lot of other places and it looks like they're exactly the same plugs. They're glass and they have like a little like glitter swirl in the middle. I really like these, but the wearable is extremely long, even for me. I have kind of chubby ears, but these still kind of sit out the back, so I don't really like the way they look when they're in because they kind of tilt backwards because they're so heavy. But I do wear them sometimes because I like them. They're pretty. But I don't recommend them if you have really short, like really narrow lobes, because these will probably look ridiculous. Like, I mean, like you could see. But the inside of them looks neat. Like, I don't know, I'm really into those ones where they're like handmade glass and they've got like a bunch of different colors. I just think it's so cool. I actually had a friend who used to blow glass and she would make little glass animals and things like that. I don't know. So I find it really interesting, and I like anything that's creative or artistic. So a lot of my plugs are like stuff that I bought from like small companies, and then of course I've bought, you know, like mass produced stuff as well. But I also make some of my own hangers and weights, which I'll show those too in a minute. These are some of my Opalite plugs. Opalite is actually just a fancy way of saying cloudy white glass. I do like them though because they're kind of, you know, they mix it up a little so you're not just wearing plain white plugs or plain black plugs like I'm usually wearing. And they look, I don't know, they look a little different and I like them. I like opal stuff anyway. So I picked up some Opalite plugs again for like when I have to go somewhere or do something with people and I don't want to be super flashy. They're like a nice kind of subtle plug, and I don't know, I really like them. I might get some more Opalite stuff later. I was thinking about getting some with like a larger flare because I do like it when they're a little more showy. And I didn't really talk about it, but most of my plugs are single flare. I don't buy a whole lot of double flare, mainly because you just have to stretch up like another size or two, and I wasn't really willing to do that. A lot of the double flares that I do have are 14 millimeter because the flare itself is like 16 and my ears are very sensitive. I actually recently ripped my ears on some hangers that a friend got me for Christmas. I guess they're more like weights. They're not dangly, but they have very sharp edges. And yeah, it took me about 3 months to heal my ears, so I have been downsized for a really long time, and I'm finally back up at 16mm, which is nice. Thank God. I hate just wearing the same plugs. I don't know about you, but like, it's just mind numbing. And like I said, I've been collecting plugs for about 5 or 6 years. These ones are some Rick and Morty plugs. I want to say maybe I got them on Wish. I'm not sure. Not 100% on these ones. They're just some pretty simple stainless steel with the little metal O-ring on the back. I don't really like these kind because, again, my lobes are kind of chubby, so sometimes I'll buy these and they'll pinch, and then my ear will get all swollen. So a lot of times I wear stuff like this without the backs, or I'll just put rubber backs on them so that I can have a little bit more space. Like, I also try to avoid the ones with the O-ring groove, just because, yeah, I'll pinch my ear and then I'll be dealing with them being all swollen for like several days, and I'm just sick of it. So I've kind of learned to work around it. These like barely fit outside of my lobe, and when I move it forward, like like it's all the way inside my ear, like none of it is sticking out the back. So that is kind of the price you pay if you have thicker lobes, is that you either have to very specifically order ones with a longer length, but a lot of times you're not going to find like the nice like cheap fashion plugs with that, you know, with the longer wearable. So I just use the O-rings instead, and I just kind of, you know, soldier on and pretend like they fit, even though they don't. A lot of times I'll only wear them for a few hours. Like these ones anyway, like the stainless steel always irritates my ears. I like these, they're cute. They're kind of nice if you're like wearing a funky little outfit or something, because they're kind of holographic. And of course it's Rick like pulling poor Morty's like eye sockets apart. But I like these ones. I think they're cute. I don't wear them super often, again, because they just don't fit very well, but I like them. These are actually my daily plugs. I wear them every day. Also, controversially, I sleep in my plugs. My ears shrink a lot. I do have like a lot of neurological problems, and I tend to get like really puffy and swollen like everywhere. Like even my rings are adjustable. So I always sleep in my plugs, because if I go without them, even like trying to train my ears, because I did that for a while, I actually ended up getting an almost blowout from doing that. So I just stopped, because even like a couple of hours seems to be too much. So it's whatever. Now I just sleep with them, but I like these ones because they're just about the perfect length for me. They're a little too long, but it's exactly what I need. Like not like these other ones that I showed you where they're kind of like, I don't know, something about this. Maybe it's the shape, like that these are just kind of funky with the way that they hang in your ear, where these don't, because they have like the rounded end for stretching. But I quite liked these. I actually dead stretched with these. I think they're called dia something glass. I'll put it on the screen because I can't pronounce it, but I kind of remember how to spell it. That's a lie. And I really like these because they're kind of like galaxy. They had a bunch of different colors. These ones are from Body Art Forms. And they sold them for a while. And they had, I think, like green and maybe like a reddish one that I really wanted. I just never got around to buying them. Body Art Forms can be kind of pricey, but they do have good sales. So sometimes when they have their 30% off sale, like if you subscribe to their newsletter, it'll let you know in advance, especially if you're like a VIP or whatever, and then you can, you know, get to the sale early, because everything sells out. So if there's something that's cheap and nice and cool, and then the sale happens, it's going to be sold out. So you kind of have to jump on those kind of deals. So I usually check every time they have a sale, even if I don't necessarily need plugs, just to see if they have something that I'm interested in or that I forgot about, that I left in my cart. But I don't buy from them too much anymore, mostly because I don't need plugs, since I have so many. But I highly recommend Body Art Forms. They do have some cheap jewelry on there, so I would kind of avoid that. Like, I try to stay away from the acrylic and things like that, or like the off-brand silicone. I would just go with Chaos, just because my ears are sensitive. And I have noticed some of their jewelry is not like from nice brands. It's just the same stuff you're gonna find on Temu and Wish, just like 3 or 4 times the price. So I'm kind of like, I don't feel very good about buying, you know, paying extra for what the same stuff that's basically on, you know, a Chinese website and it's mixed in with all of their good jewelry, which kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. I understand they have to make money. But that's kind of, over the last couple of years, I've kind of pulled away from using them as much. I just use Body Art Forms when I need something really specific or I need to special order something, because they will do that just like a piercer, and I found they're a lot more reliable than some of the piercers around here are. So that's where I prefer to, you know, order things if I need something very specific with like a certain wearable or whatever, usually for my other piercings. But definitely a good website to check out. See if you like anything. A good place to start if you want to buy like regular stretching plugs. But I got most of them on Arctic Buffalo, most of my like plain plugs for dead stretching. But some on Body Art Forms too, because they have some weird in-between sizes sometimes. So something to think about. These are some tunnels that I have. I actually have these in several colors. They're just stainless steel. They do tend to irritate my ears, so I don't wear them very long, but I usually wear them if I'm gonna wear hangers, or sometimes I'll just wear them plain. Depends on what I'm doing. These ones are blue. I think I've got like a whole little, I don't know if you can see it, a whole little box full of them. This came as a set, I want to say on Amazon. Yes, on Amazon. It was pretty reasonably priced from what I remember, and I just wanted a couple of different ones, you know, different sets, different colors to kind of go with things, because I use the gold ones and the silver ones a lot, especially if I'm wearing like nicer hangers or weights. I don't know. These ones I like them, but they're kind of short. Like the wearable, again, is just kind of short for me, and my ears are getting really puffy because they're mad at me. I have to basically shove this through and then kind of hold it down and twist the back on. Sometimes I do it from the front. I'll actually put it in the opposite way, so this little sharper part back through here, and then spin them on. I've cut my ears doing that also, just so be aware. These ones are very sharp. I definitely don't like that about them. They're too sharp and they're very short. The wearable, again, is just astronomically tiny. I'm sure it's great for other people, but they do not work well for me. I feel like my ears are just like pinched into, you know, like an ear corset or something. It's not pleasant. So I don't wear them for very long, and I usually just wear them to protect my ears if I'm wearing, like, I have, like, for instance, some acrylic hangers. I don't like those touching my ears because my ears get really irritated, and I also don't like the weight not being like evenly distributed. So tunnels are great for that. They kind of make sure that when it's pulling on your ear, it's pulling very evenly. It's not just pulling at the bottom and, you know, slowly tearing your ear down. So a little tip, if you ever want to wear really heavy weights, which I'll show you some that are super heavy, these are great. I prefer silicone though sometimes, so sometimes I'll just wear the silicone ones. I think those are more comfortable. Like I've fallen asleep in these before and it was not very pleasant. My ears were really pinched and irritated. But again, that might not be a problem if you have like you need a shorter wearable length. But I like them, and they were cheap, so I have lots of options with colors and things like that. I even have some like rainbow purple ones. You can't see it super well because they're a tunnel, but I don't know. It looks a little different, and I like subtle stuff sometimes. These are my teardrop plugs I got from America Organics. They're a smaller company. They make all kinds of custom plugs. They're great. I mean, you can customize everything, the type of wood, the color of the stone, the shape of the stone, the shape of the plug, pretty much everything you can pick. They do have sales every great once in a while. That's when I got these. They had like a 50% off sale around Christmas, I want to say. They do take a really long time because they're just a really small company. So sometimes it might be, you know, 3-4 months before you get your plug. So just be aware of that. And they're not they're not super great with communication, at least when I talk to them. I want to say I ordered another set of plugs, but I don't know where they are because I don't see them over here. But they make amazing plugs. Like these are so cool. I love them. It's like a dark, almost black wood. I don't remember what wood I picked. And then it's got this like really shimmery, beautiful purple stone in the middle. I don't wear these too often, even though I love them, just because I found they're kind of uncomfortable because my ears don't like the point at the top, but they're really cool. I love them for if I'm gonna go do something and I want to, you know, have kind of more like gothic earrings to go with it, but not hanging ones, because sometimes I'll wear a collar, and if I wear a collar, it bumps and then it jingles and it irritates me. So I just go with these. They're awesome. I think these ones are 14 millimeter. It seems like to me, because you can see how much room I have. So if you do get plugs from them, their flares aren't super huge. They're actually kind of small in my opinion. So you could totally get your normal size and probably wear these fine. I want to say I ordered these in 14 millimeter, but I don't know. I don't think that I did though. I feel like I was already at 16 millimeter. I don't know. Anyway, I love these. The wood is nice, but I don't wear wood very often just because it absorbs the moisture super fast. Like, so a couple times I actually forgot to oil my ears before I put them in, because I got out of the shower, just shoved them in, went on my way, and oh my god, it was like peeling off a band-aid from the inside of my ear. So maybe don't do that. Just make sure to put some oil on them. Even after like an hour or two, sometimes they will be like bone dry. So I generally just oil them again. Like, I'll even take them out if I'm at home and like put more oil in. But if I'm out, usually it's only for like an hour or two, so it's fine. But that's what they look like. Look at those. Look at those bad boys. Yeah. So shiny. I don't know why. I really love shiny stuff. Like, I'm like a ferret, so if it's shiny, I will probably have it. And speaking of shiny, I have some more shiny. Here's another set of shiny ones. I love these. Excuse my camera, it doesn't like to focus. I really hope it focuses on these. Like, it probably isn't, and I'm just like showing you a super blurry image, and I'm gonna find out at the end of this. But anyway, I like these ones. These ones have like a little, kind of like a black ring of rhinestones, and then it's got like a really big stone that's kind of like purpley and rainbowy in the middle, and I love rainbows, so of course I'm gonna have that. Again, same problem as always with these kinds of plugs for me. The wearable is like, yeah. So my ears just aren't a huge fan. And it looks like, yeah, these ones are a little bigger too, so they don't fit super well. I think I've only worn these a few times. I think I wore them when I first stretched up, but I haven't really worn them since, just because it's hard to fit them. You can kind of see how they look. Oh, so sparkly, so shiny. But I do like the bling, so these are nice. I don't know where I got these. It might have been Body Art Forms. That sounds right. I think so. Yeah. I feel like I got them with like a really big order, and they were just kind of like an afterthought because I needed like to spend $5 more for free shipping. So, yeah, I think those were on Body Art Forms, but if they are, it was a long time ago, so they might not be on there anymore. So these are some Labradorite ones. It's pretty hard to see the flash just because it's dark, but I want to say I got these from BME. I'm probably butchering that. I don't remember. It was on Etsy. And they do a lot of Labradorite plugs. I know I have another set of them somewhere. Again, I don't know where all of my plugs are. I don't know what happened. Like, I went on vacation, I took a bunch of plugs with me, and then some of them somehow disappeared. So I don't know if I left them somewhere or if they're in another bag that I like left in my luggage. Like, I looked through all that. I didn't see them. But anyway, I'm missing a lot of plugs, and I know that I also have a round set instead of just these teardrop ones. But what I love about these is the rounded top. So they're very rounded. They're teardrop, but this part is so much more comfy than wearing like these pointed America Organic ones that I showed you. I highly recommend getting more of like a taper at the top if you want to get into wearing like teardrop plugs all the time, just because they put a lot less strain on your ears, and I found I can wear them for like quite a while without my ears being too irritated. So you can kind of see how those look. You can't see the flash in here, so I'm sorry. They look like probably really plain, but they're very shimmery and shiny, and I quite like them. Anything Labradorite, I have a ton of it. I love it. So, and one of the reasons I want to stretch up even bigger is because I want to get some really giant, like 1-inch Labradorite plugs. So maybe I'll do that eventually. We'll see. So these are some snowflake obsidian plugs. I actually love obsidian, so of course I have snowflake obsidian. I have a ton of stone plugs that I got in a really big lot. It was like, I forget, like 20 plugs or something. Like, I have a pile of them and they're in little bags because I don't wear a lot of them unless they like go with an outfit or something. Then I'll like wear some of the weirder colored ones that I don't usually wear. But I do really like these snowflake obsidian ones. I wear them a lot. These ones are actually double flare. I think they're 14 millimeter. It feels like they are. Yeah, because I've got a lot of space. But I got them on Amazon during Prime Day like 3 or 4 summers ago. And it was so cheap. Like, it was ridiculous. That's why I bought them. I wasn't even at my goal size yet. And I think it was like $20 for like this massive amount of plugs. Like, it might have been $25. But yeah, basically it was almost like $1 per set of plugs. And I was like, okay, I can't pass that up. Like, I'll get all these different kinds of stones and I can see which ones I like. Maybe give some away. So I have like a ton. Like, I think some blue ones that came with it. I don't remember what stone this is. I used to know my stones pretty well, and now I've like kind of like lapsed and my brain just doesn't recall. Like hematite. I love hematite. It's like it's very heavy, so if you ever are having trouble stretching up and you don't want to wear like hangers or weights, I definitely recommend getting some hematite plugs because they're like one of the heaviest stones. So even if they're the same size as your glass plugs, they usually weigh a bit more. I know Arctic Buffalo lists the weights of their plugs, which I find extremely helpful. So they tell you what the size of your plug is and then what each one weighs individually. And that can be really helpful if you're trying to size up and you either can't find the middle size that you need, especially when you start getting towards the bigger sizes. They don't sell stuff in 0.5 millimeter increments, so you kind of just got to go with it. So I picked the heaviest stones I can find. These are some sandstone ones that came with it as well. I don't believe they're like real stone at all. I think they're just glass with some really nice glitter in it. They don't seem to irritate my ears, so I know they're not acrylic, and they definitely sound like glass. Got some of these. These ones are quite interesting. I'm not going to try all these on just because, again, I have so many, it's kind of ridiculous. These are glass, but they're supposed to look like moss agate, and I actually love them. I got them on body art forms, and when the light goes through, it just looks like little bits of moss, like suspended in water or something. They don't look quite as good in your ears. I think they would have been better, like, at a bigger size, but this is, what I got, because I don't really want to get, again, double flare 16 millimeter, because they usually just bother my ears. They look kind of plain in. That was the only thing I was sad about, because I'm like, I want to be able to see the little moss in there. I collect a lot of moss agate rock, so I thought these were kind of neat. I bought one set of moss agate plugs a long time ago. I don't think I have them anymore, but they were just very cloudy and kind of dull. You couldn't really see into them. So I think that's something more for, like, again, if I got to 1 inch, then I might be able to actually see the stone like I want to. These ones are some Sphinx cat plugs. I really like these. I think they're cute. I've got like a little upside down cross and a little Sphinx cat. My Sphinx cat passed away, so I like ended up collecting a bunch of weird Sphinx cat stuff. And these ones, again, same issue. Like, the wearable is just like ridiculous for me. It's like half of what I need. So they just don't fit great. I've only worn them, I think, one time because they just pinched my ear. So I have them. They might be something like I figure out something with, do something different with. But because the wearable is just so short, I might have to like stick them inside of like a silicone tunnel or something. That's kind of what I was thinking, just so I can actually wear them. These ones, I want to say I got on Amazon. Not super sure. You can find these anywhere. I've even seen them on body art forums. I've seen them on Temu. They're just one of those plugs that are kind of everywhere. And they're definitely not great quality. Like, I noticed that the black is kind of chipping off. They aren't super durable, so they're kind of one of those wear for a few hours kind of plugs, which I have a lot of because I feel like that's most plugs. They're not really made to be worn long term, at least not without some repercussions. because a lot of times the paint will come off, especially if they're black, since you can't anodize anything black. Niobium can get kind of close, but they don't really use niobium for plugs, so. Hey, sorry to end it so abruptly. The video ended up being over an hour, so I had to split it between plugs and hangers, but I hope you enjoyed looking at all the different ones that I have. I've included some photos at the end here so you can kind of see the ones I didn't show and a few close-ups of some of the ones I did. I hope you enjoyed that too, and hopefully I'll release part 2 soon. Anyway, thank you. Why did I say thank you? So weird. So weird.